we're going to talk about schedules and routines. Schedules and routines are important for everybody, children and adults, but some might need it more than others. I'm talking here to the parents who find themselves having trouble with compliance, having trouble either getting their child from one activity to another during the day, or having to repeat themselves again and again within one activity in order to get a certain sequence from their child. So for the parents that are struggling with this issue, I think schedules and routines are going to be really helpful for you. So the first tip I'm going to give you is about setting a logical, practical sense to the schedules and the routines. This looks something like having scheduled breaks in between the child's activities and setting the harder activities that require more effort at a time where their child is not hungry, not sleepy, not before nap time, and not right after eating because he'd be usually tired. So setting this logical sense to the daily schedule would really help the child better manage himself. This would also look something like setting up the space in order to encourage compliance. So for example, if we're asking the child to clean up right after he plays, it would make sense to put the boxes and the playing area close to each other in order for him to remember what he needs to do. Or if we're asking the child to throw away tissue paper in the bin, it would make sense to put the bin somewhere that's accessible to the child. Having a child-friendly environment and a child-friendly schedule would really help them better manage themselves. The second tip I'm going to give you is about using visuals. Visuals are really important in order to encourage the child to be more independent in following the schedule and following the routine. This would also help you fade yourself out of having to come in and remind the child what needs to be done and come in and remind them what comes next and what comes first. They can be something as simple as this or this, which is done at home. There are plenty of apps that you can use, or it can even be an alarm clock that goes off when it's time to transition to another activity. The third tip I'm going to give you is about setting achievable, attainable goals for the child. It would make a lot of sense to take into consideration the child's age, ability, and what he or she has previously done before when we're asking them to set up their schedule. For example, if we're putting in homework time, let's say, and the child is 7 years old, wouldn't really make sense to put in homework time for 3 hours before they get to have a break. We need to set in scheduled breaks in between. Or if we're asking the child to pack up their school supplies for the day, it would make sense to make sure that all the items are within reach and they're for easy access for the child to get. So once we do that, we're making sure that the child is set up for success and he can independently achieve the scheduled task. The fourth tip I'm going to give you is about practice and encouragement. Now, once we've set up the perfect schedule with the right activities, we need to make sure that we are teaching the child how to follow the schedule because it's not a skill that actually comes naturally to them. Being active and present in the beginning parts of the schedule is important. We need to redirect the child when they're confused. We need to make sure that we're praising them when they actually independently go to the schedule. And then we can slowly and gradually fade ourselves out. As a final note, don't forget to take the whole child into consideration when we're setting up the schedule and be consistent.